Good morning. I figured I probably won't be able to do too many of these milk chats with us drying Matilda off. She will be out on the pasture and not being milked for a while. Hopefully she'll get in calf pretty easily, and then it'll just be waiting for the calf to be born, which we're planning and hoping will be you know, next spring. Just depends. Might be late spring, might be mid-spring. It depends if we get her in calf right away or how long that process takes. Part of me is looking forward to having a break from the requirement of milking every day. I think the family is not looking forward to not having fresh milk. But part of me will also just really miss this time. I find milking very soothing and relaxing, and I like spending time with Matilda. She's such a sweetie, and we've really bonded over the last 6 months that we've had her. Don't be kicking that bucket, girl. But her milk production is really dropping since she's got a little, she's got a little, maybe a cut or a scrape on the bottom of this teat, and it's making the milk go sideways. Let me see if I can show you. See how it's coming out sideways? Oh, squirting myself. That's a bit better. It's because of that cut that she has there. She must have scraped it on something. I'll have to put some cream on her this morning. So we had an unfortunate incident yesterday let me see, when was it? Oh yeah, that's right, because it was Sunday yesterday. And so my husband was home from work and the boys came in from doing the chickens. We'd kind of slept in a little bit, and there was a dead chook found outside the pen. Now they had been locked up the night before, they'd all been locked in. But obviously this chook did not come in to roost, because she was out in the paddock, and where the boys found her, it was like she was trying to get back into the pen, but she was being chased by something. And whatever it was, we're very confident wasn't the dogs, because it didn't look like anything they've ever done before. It was decapitated, it was missing a head, its head, a head, it was missing its head. But it also, had like big scratches down its back. I don't know, that's not something. So in the past, when our dogs have killed chickens, it's more like they have played with them until it didn't end well, you know, like they Matilda. Whereas this was very different. So I don't know if it was a raccoon or a possum. It's just so funny thinking possums could do that, because the possums in Australia are not predators in that sense at all. Like, unless you have a fruit tree, they'll eat your fruit off your fruit tree, but they don't attack things like that. So yeah, that was a bit sad and disappointing. But obviously, for whatever reason, she didn't come in when all the other chooks did. Watch out, baby girl. And you're out of feed? You still got feed? I'll get you a bit more. garden is rocking along. In other news, the garden's rocking along and the baby chicks are growing. We've put them out on grass a while ago now. Actually, they're in a Joel Salatin chicken tractor in the front yard, and we're going to sort of move them down and introduce them to the big flock. So last time we had chickens, I think we waited too long to introduce them to the flock, and one of them was killed by the other chickens. And I was watching I think it was a Justin Rhodes, where he was introducing chicks, and he was talking about how the younger you introduce them, the safer it is from, like the better they assimilate with the rest of the flock. But the issue we have is air predators. That's what I've got to look out for. So because they're not in a coop, they free range, and so I'm just a little bit conscious of that. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I don't know if we'll lose any to air predators if we do that, with them being free range. So, I mean, they're locked in at night, and or if we put them in with the front flock, which are in a chicken tractor and under a shelter, I think that might work, as long as they're not too small to be able to get out through the little holes in the poultry net, in the fencing, in the electric fence. So, I don't know, we're gonna have to cross that bridge soon, I think soon. We've got a couple of projects we're trying to work on over the summer. One is a new chicken tractor, and I think we're going to try, we've got a John Suskovich tractor, which is excellent and we love it. Jason from Sotherland has one he's modified. It's very similar to that design, but he has put, he's modified it so that it's got nesting boxes in the back, because the John Suskovich is really designed for meat chickens, and we want it for laying hens. So we may use Jason's plans from Sotherland, and instead of, just to help us be able to figure out how to put the nesting boxes in. All right, wait a second, girl. I'm gonna need to put your leg back, sweetie. Good girl. Thank you. The other project which we need to do, and I said to Mike last night, I almost feel like it's the most urgent, is fixing the side gate that goes from our backyard into the side pasture, because whenever the dogs get out, I'm pretty sure that's where they're getting out, and that will just reduce a lot of stress if we can fix that. The issue we have, and I don't know if you guys, so I don't know if you guys will relate to this, or if you're like building geniuses, but we don't have those kind of skills. So what, we end up just like dodging things up trying to fix them. And we really need to fix it properly, so that it's no longer an issue and we don't have to think about it. Like at the moment, I put things in front of it. I've got like a big, it's like a target, a really heavy, big old target that the boys, like a shooting target. And I've got that in front of there, and I put a barrel in front of the gate and try and block it off, because there's all these gaps and the gate's not aligned properly. So anyway, I was thinking about, and there's two issues. One is time, my husband having the time to look at it, but also he's just got to figure it out, because he doesn't have those skills either. He didn't grow up fixing gates or have any of those skills in his work repertoire. So I have thought about, like, who can I ask, and maybe I'll pay them with bread or something, fresh produce out of the garden, to come help us fix that gate. But I do think that needs to be a priority so that we can remove that layer of stress. You know, when you have like little niggly things like that, that just every time you walk past, you look at it and think, oh, I've got to do something about that. But in your head at the same time, I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to fix it. Like, that's a daily load that you carry, and it kind of adds a lot of stress, even though it might sound like a little thing. I guess we have all of us would have those areas in our life where there are gaps and we don't have the skills to accommodate it. So we either have to learn the skills, or we have to, you know, phone a friend, call in help. All right, girls, I think that's about it. One thing I've been keeping an eye out for, and I think would be awesome, is if the School of Traditional Skills or Abundance Plus or someone would do like a course, a basic farm repairs, basic building skills. You know, there's just so many times where that is required on a homestead. And when you come in without those skills, it is a real handicap. Like, these are just, I mean, it just is. And so like, it has slowed us down. The lack of that skill has slowed us down a lot in what we are able to do here. Now, we keep going, we keep, you know, plodding along and doing what we can and muddling through. And there's been many times when friends have really helped, and people that have skills that we don't have. Like, I mean, this little paddock here, goodness, look how much the grass has grown so quickly. But this little paddock, little yard, it's a holding yard off the side of the shed. I mean, this is a perfect point in case where our friend Michael had a lot of experience that we didn't have in fence building, and he came and helped us put this up. So, you know, there are times when that's available and possible and wonderful, and we're really grateful. And there are times when it's just not available, so you have to figure it out, you know. So one of our goals is to develop these skills. But yeah, well, that's not a quick fix. I feel like that is a work in progress. I just realized I forgot to put the udder balm on that cut. I don't know if she'll let me do it standing in the paddock, but I'm going to try. On that alley here. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Milk up. Okay, well, I've handed the milk off to one of the kiddos who's going to filter it, put it in the fridge and all of that jazz. And I'm going to just try and weed some of the potato row, which is getting out of hand before it gets too hot. The only other piece of news that I was going to tell you guys in this little farm update is that we got a new mower, which I don't know how much I've really talked about it on here, but when we arrived on this 11.5, it's a bit over that acre property, we did not have a mower. And the mower situation has been an ongoing sort of dilemma, but the Lord has provided in crazy ways. Like, our wonderful neighbor, when we got here, he came down and he's like, I've got this really old mower that's been sitting in the shed and no one's using it. Let me tinker with it a bit. You can use it if I can get it going. And he's retired. He's a retired engineer and he loves to tinker and he never stops. So he came down like a day later with this old ride-on mower, and it has been a godsend. So during the last 2 years, well, it's not quite 2 years that we've been here, we've used it a lot because there's a lot to keep. It's not just the front and back of the little house yard, but the side paddocks really need to be mown. If you've I don't know if it's like this everywhere in America, but in East Texas, the weeds grow, the grass grows, like in the spring especially, overnight. Like it'll shoot up 6 inches overnight. It's crazy. Like it just is amazing how fast it grows. And if you don't stay on top of it, it gets really out of hand. And because there's so many snakes, I like to have all the areas around the house kept down. So we used that mower. It stopped and started, and you know, our teenage boys would tinker with it, and they'd call Grandpa Ken and say, hey, Mr. Ken, what do I do with this? Or this has happened, and he loved helping them. And so they were gaining skills. I'm gonna put this down. They were gaining skills while he was helping them and teaching them, and the mower was would get offline for a while, and then we'd have it again, and offline for a while, and then we'd have it again. But so there's lots of really big good benefits in that. The boys were learning, and we had a mower that, you know, was just gifted to us, which in our situation was completely what we needed and such a godsend. Then we had also another friend gift us an electric push mower that we have been using in the house yard. So the little boys have been using it, you know, to mow. You probably have seen it in videos. It's a little blue mower, and it just is powered by a battery pack that is rechargeable. So that has been amazing. Like, yes, it's small and electric and doesn't do a very big area, but it has contributed. It has really helped and added to what we needed here to keep things managed and under control. And then another mower was gifted to us as well by our neighbor, and it worked for a good while before it gave up the ghost. So yeah, we've been kind of just getting it done as best we could with what we had. And then when finally that ride-on that we got from next door finally just totally kicked the bucket, like it just totally it just got to the point of no return. And Grandpa Ken, so he's not the kids' grandpa, he's the neighbor, but we call them Grandpa Ken and Grandma Vicky because they've just kind of adopted our family and been such beautiful neighbors. And he said, well, I'm kind of surprised it went for as long as it did. But it finally bit the dust. And so we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Because really the amount of lawn we have to maintain, and I don't like having lawn for the sake of lawn. It's really more about, like I said to Mike, if we had sheep or other animals right now, that we could probably manage this a whole heap without mowers, but we're not there yet. So for now, it needs to be mown. So anyway, we were sort of like, oh, what are we going to do? And so we mow the whole area, like my in-laws' house is there, and their front and back area, which is like a fairly big area. And then we have another area that size on the other side of the house, and then we have our house yard. So we don't mow the back pastures, although we have an aerobic septic system, which I don't know if that is common here. It's very common here in this area, but I noticed a few northerners that I had mentioned it and they didn't know what it was. It's a septic system where that you have, instead of the old concrete, which we had in Australia, the old-fashioned septic system, which is just like a big concrete tank underground. This one has 3 compartments, and it's filtered through sand and gravel, and then it goes out to a sprinkler system where it goes at the back. So that has to be maintained, that has to be mown around, otherwise the weeds just completely consume it and it gets out of control. So that has to be done as well. Anyway, all that to say, we have bought a new mower. With Nini and Papa's help, we're just going to pay them back in increments as we can. And it is a 0-turn mower, and it's just like revolutionized the way we manage the property, because it now means that what used to take hours and hours every week, hours and hours and hours to push mow, and because there was a period of weeks where we were doing the entire property with a push mower and a whippersnipper when the other mower wasn't working. And it literally would just take days and days, and that's all we could do was mow and just rotate through people taking turns on the mower. Now it gets done in a fraction of the time. Like, our teenager came in the other day and he said, I just did in 45 minutes what would have taken me hours beforehand. So it's been a game changer, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's the other update here. Well, friends, thanks for hanging out with me and having a little milk chat and a farm update. I am going to go and weed this row before it gets too hot. And I will see you again soon. Sunshine and raindrops, people. May you have all of that in the right amounts. It's a beautiful sunny day here. I think it's going to be quite hot, but I'll just tell you this. We had a beautiful shower of rain last night. It was actually a storm came through, but it was the perfect amount of rain. It wasn't like, it was a good soak, and we'd had sort of 3 or 4 days with nothing, which is so funny because like that is nothing in Australia. 3 or 4 days with no rain is nothing. But things had started to dry out, and I thought, I'm going to have to go water the garden, and then the Lord sent a beautiful storm and I didn't have to. And it's so much better for the garden. Like, if you garden, you know, like rain is so good for the garden. So that was awesome. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.